This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video, I'll take a look at the latest Breeders' Cup Classic news, and I will also update my top 8 Breeders' Cup Classic contenders. The 2025 Classic will be held at Del Mar on Saturday, November 1st. Now, lightly raced Bob Baffert 3-year-old Nevada Beach entered the Breeders' Cup Classic picture when he upset full Serrano in the Grade 1 Goodwood Stakes at Santa Anita Park on Saturday, September 27th. That race was a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. He completed his mile and an eighth journey in 1:48.43 seconds and earned a 1:01 Beyer speed figure. He's an improving 3-year-old, and he is expected to move on to the Classic. Now, in that Goodwood Stakes, he was able to track the pace outside. Full Serrano was setting a pressured pace. Nevada Beach's stablemate Privman was pressing him, and Nevada Beach on the outside in the clear was able to win the race and earn his spot in the Breeders' Cup Classic. As for Full Serrano, he's going to turn back to 1 mile as he attempts to defend his title in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He needed to win this event, the Goodwood, if he was expected to move on to the Classic, but they're going to cut back in distance. They're going to run in the Dirt Mile again. Now, locked on the East Coast at Aqueduct, he wore down controlling speed Phileas Fogg in the Grade 2 Woodward Stakes at Aqueduct. That was on Saturday, September 27th. The final time was 1:48.11 seconds. And post time rounded out the scratch-reduced 3-horse field. Locked received a 98 Beyer speed figure for his win on Saturday, and he is possible for the Breeders' Cup Classic or the Dirt Mile. We're going to see which direction they go. Now, if he does go for the Classic, he did romp in the Grade 1 Big Cap at Santa Anita at 1.25 miles earlier this year, earning a nice speed rating there. And here's the latest Breeders' Cup Classic news and workouts. Antiquarian for trainer Todd Pletcher, he breezed 4 furlongs in 49.55 seconds, 56th best of 113 at Saratoga on September 27th, and Antiquarian stablemate Fierceness, he traveled 4 furlongs in 49 flat, 27th best of 113 at Saratoga on the dirt training surface on September 27th as well. Now, Forever Young from Japan, he drew post 7 in a 10-horse field in the Nippon TV High Stakes in Japan, and that will be run on Wednesday, October 1st. He's going to carry 128 pounds. He's the heavy favorite in that event, and he is said to be 70 to 80% fit. And post time for that race is 7:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and it will be his first start since he finished 3rd in the Dubai World Cup in April. And if all goes well, he is expected to travel to Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup Classic this fall. Journalism on the West Coast for trainer Michael McCarthy. He breezed 4 furlongs in 47 flat, best of 41 at Santa Anita on September 26th. Mindframe for Todd Pletcher, he had a half-mile move in 49.65 seconds, 60th best of 113 works at Saratoga on September 27th. Sierra Leone, your defending Breeders' Cup Classic winner from last year, 5 furlongs in 1:01.27 for trainer Chad Brown. That was best of 8 at Saratoga on September 27th. Sovereignty, the best 3-year-old in the land, he worked 5 furlongs in 1:02.82 seconds, 3rd best of 3 workouts at Saratoga on September 27th. And now it's time for my top 8 Breeders' Cup Classic contenders list as of September 29th, 2025. And we'll go from 8th to 1st. And the horse that I have tabbed in 8th is Mindframe, and he is for trainer Todd Pletcher, and he's worked twice since losing his rider in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And since he lost that rider at the beginning of his race, the Breeders' Cup Classic is basically going to be his first start since June of this year, because he didn't get anything out of that event. He lost his rider right at the beginning, and we'll see how he does, because he's talented, but the Classic is going to be a tough hill to climb for Mindframe. Antiquarian, I have ranked 7th, and another Todd Pletcher trainee, and he had everything go his way in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Mindframe lost his rider. Your post-time favorite was Sierra Leone, and he had to jump over the fallen rider, Irad Ortiz Jr., and then Antiquarian from the outside post. He avoided all of that early drama, and he held off late-charging Sierra Leone to win by 1.5 lengths. The horse that I have ranked 6th for the Breeders' Cup Classic is Baeza, and he moves up 2 spots from my last ranking. He's a highly regarded $1.2 million purchase for trainer John Sheriffs. Picked up his first stakes win in his 5th stakes attempt in the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby. And one of the reasons he was able to jump forward and win that race is he got away from sovereignty and journalism, and he was able to shine at Parks on September 20th. Looks like he's the third best 3-year-old right now, behind sovereignty and journalism, but he is getting faster, and he's not that far behind those runners. He finished within a length of sovereignty. That was in the Jim Dandy Stakes, and he was not far behind journalism in the Kentucky Derby, also in the Santa Anita Derby either. And my fifth ranked horse for the Breeders' Cup Classic is journalism, and he's the only horse to compete in all 3 Triple Crown Series races this year. And since he competed in those spring classics, he was first in the Haskell, second in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic at Del Mar against older company. Fierceness defeated him easily that day, but journalism from the back of the pack was able to rally and finish a clear second. I mentioned that he had that nice workout recently at Santa Anita, so journalism seems to be coming up to the race in good order, at least up to this point. He has a few more works to go. My 4th ranked Breeders' Cup Classic contender is Fierceness, and he was last year's Classic runner-up. Now, he did disappoint in the Grade 1 Whitney, but he bounced back in a big way in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic when he shipped out west. And he seems to thrive in California. He won Breeders' Cup Juvenile in California. He was second in the Classic last year. And then in the Pacific Classic, again, he proved that he could handle Del Mar with a nice win there. And he's definitely going to be a strong win contender in the Breeders' Cup Classic, especially if the pace is on the moderate side. He likes to be forwardly placed. Last year in the Classic, the pace was very fast. At this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. And if it is on the moderate side, Fierceness could definitely win the Breeders' Cup Classic. My 3rd ranked Classic contender at this point is Forever Young. And last year he finished 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And he does figure to return to Del Mar if he does well in his final prep race in Japan on October 1st. And I mentioned that race a few minutes earlier. He's a classy world traveler. He's talented, and he's definitely talented enough to win the Classic if he runs his best race. My 2nd ranked Classic contender is Sierra Leone, and he was last year's Breeders' Cup Classic winner, and he was my top choice that day, and he was 6-1, and that was a nice victory. He got a nice setup that day, and he always runs his closing race. He just finishes in the top 3 every time, even if the pace is slower. It doesn't matter which track he's running at. He just always finishes in the top 3. He's proven at a mile and a quarter, that Grade 1 win in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's run well in other races at a mile and a quarter, and he's capable of defending his title if the race shape is to his liking. So he's definitely going to need some pace help if he's going to beat this field this year. And my top-ranked Classic contender right now is Sovereignty. So he's number 1 on my list right now, and he's the top 3-year-old in the land, and he might be the best horse in North America this year. And one of the reasons that his stock keeps rising is the horses that he defeated in his recent races keep coming back and running well. Now, he beat Journalism in the Derby and the Belmont Stakes, and then Journalism would come back and win the Haskell and finish 2nd in the Pacific Classic. And he defeated Baeza in the Derby, Belmont, and Jim Dandy. And in that Jim Dandy, Baeza got to within a length of Sovereignty, and then Baeza would return and win the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby with his best career speed rating. And as for Sovereignty, he really dusted Bracket Buster in the Travers Stakes by 10 lengths, and that runner would come back and easily win the Grade 3 Oklahoma Derby on September 28th. So as you can see, the horses that Sovereignty are defeating, that he has been defeating, keep coming back and running quality races and winning stakes races of their own. Now, since the Travers Stakes, Sovereignty has worked 3 times, and he's definitely the one they're going to have to beat in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He got a 1:15 Beyer speed figure when he won the Travers Stakes, and if he runs that kind of race, he's going to be tough to beat. He's also not a one-dimensional closer like he used to be. He has much more positional speed now, so if the pace is slower in the Classic, he's going to be closer to that pace than a lot of his main rivals, and he's one that if he trains well coming up into the Classic and he runs his best race, they're all going to have their running shoes on to beat him. And if you're interested in my full card analysis, I'm covering full cards this fall. I'm covering daily full cards at Santa Anita for their autumn meet, October 3rd through 26th, followed by the Del Mar fall meet, October 30th through November 30th, including both Breeders' Cup days on October 31st and November 1st. I'm also covering Saturday full cards at Keeneland this October, October 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. You can go to the runawayhorse.com on my shop page for my upcoming full card schedule and to purchase my full card products, and I will include a link to my shop page in the video description below. I always email my analysis 1 or 2 days before race day, and I update tickets after scratches the day of each race day. Keep checking my channel for handicapping videos, horse racing news videos, today's Racing Digest video series, how to use the digest, and my Horse of the Day video series resumed last week with the start of the Santa Anita Autumn Meet. Now, 3 videos I did last week, my horse scratched on Friday, and then on Saturday, I had a 2nd place finish, Sunday, a 3rd place finish. Let's see if I can get back on track with some winners at Santa Anita this week. And like, comment, and share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. It's free to subscribe. Until I see you next time, good luck at the races.